couple terms that I use, rubbing and rolling and flexing the fulcrum. Rubbing and rolling will demonstrate exactly what that is, and flexing the fulcrum, it's using your arm as a lever and using your body as the other lever, and it makes your shoulder the fulcrum. And by working your shoulder as a fulcrum, that's where you truly get to the epicenter of the problem, and you heal it from the inside out.
What you want to use is an extended arm, and you want to go from like about a 12 o'clock to a 6 o'clock motion. And you want it smooth, no herky-jerky motions. You want to do about 10 to 12 reps. 10, 11, and 12, and you want to hold the 12 at the bottom there a bit, and then let up. Again, you want to, it's a smooth range. A lot of times trainers they'll have you pull down like this. It's called a lat pull down. We want to use the extended arm, so you're using your shoulder as a fulcrum, as a hinge, and you get right deep into the epicenter of where the issue is. When you flex like that, you're getting deep into the inside of the shoulder. You come up so you're working with opposition, and you get the very top of the fulcrum, the very top of the hinge, by doing a deltoid raise. This is from a 6 to a 12, 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock motion. You do the same 10 to 12 reps. Let's say my left shoulder is injured right now. I'll use a lighter band because sometimes you have to do that. It can't all be equal, especially if you're healing one of the arms.
So some simple tools that we'll start with, a simple tennis ball, a simple lacrosse ball, and the wonderful healing power of your own hands. And that's where we'll start. Here's something that most massage therapists won't do, is you need to cut the nails on your thumb, get your thumb right up into your armpit here, and rub deep. Give yourself you can get right to the bone here. The shoulder is actually a good joint to do this with, unlike say the hip or some other joints that are like too thick and too deep. This one I can feel right into the armpit, really, really good. And when you hurt your shoulders, you tend to have problems from the elbow up. Like right now I can feel there's a knot right there, just a little knot, but see I can rub that out. Oh, I can rub that out. That feels so good to do that. And this is a great therapy.
This feels really, really good and soothing. As I said, flexing is fun. You get a warm feeling out of it. And it feels good. It's not drudgery. It's not pain. It's a soothing feeling. There's a difference between pain and work and soreness.
This is to roll on a tennis ball. I like a tennis ball because it has the right give and the right texture to it. It's not as hard as a lacrosse ball. But if you want to roll your knots and tendons and places where it really soothes, oh, that feels good to do that. You get a little bit of acupressure, you get a little bit of chiropractor effect to it, a little bit of massage therapy, but you get right deep into the tissue and get circulation. Oh, that feels good to do this. Oh, this contributes to the overall well-being of the joint. My unique value is that I personally have experienced shoulder dislocations, and I've learned how to overcome them.
One thing I wanted to show you all, if I can be a little immodest, I had shoulder surgery right there when I was a teenager, and that was before the days of arthroscopic surgery and the good things that they do nowadays.
Most doctors and therapists who treat these injuries have not personally experienced them. The point I make is if I'd known what I know now back then, I never would have had to have surgery on it.
Okay, we'll move on to the next phase here. This is a bulwark. I've talked about it in the tools to use module. This is a fabulous tool. You can interchange the springs in it. You want to make sure you use the correct spring so it's not too hard and it's not too light. They are interchangeable here. But anyway, we'll start with, this is a beautiful tool for the shoulders. We'll start at the lower level here, then we flex like so. You want to do this about 8 to 10 times or so. Flex and squeeze once you get to the inside of it. And then once you get to the last rep, you hold like so. You can see how that flexes the shoulders. It's beautiful for shoulder work. We hold for about 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds. And then that's the first set. I turned 60 years old during the filming of this course. And throughout the 40 plus years that I've been practicing this, I've hurt my shoulders numerous times. Boxing, playing basketball, and you'll find throughout your life, whether you're carrying your 1-year-old to a park like this, or you're carrying luggage to an airport, you'll tweak your shoulders. It's just a fact of life. And what happens is, I actually tweaked mine doing chin-ups before I did this course. So the rubbing and rolling that I do, and my left shoulder is tweaked a little still, is legit how I heal this. I'm not just going through the motions, it actually works. I'm just rubbing simple. This is just a simple Bengay product. There's all kinds of other products you can, topical lotions and things. Some are snake oil, some are actually help soothe. But the thing of it is, this is only a helpful thing, because if things weren't wrong on the inside of your joint, you wouldn't want to be rubbing stuff on the outside of your joint. So topical lotions help, but they're not the cure-all. But for this particular exercise, they help move your fingers across the skin and help you dig into the joint a little better. But anyway, the soothing rubbing, and then I can get deep into my rotator cuff, deep up into my armpit. Now some people say, well, that's gross, but you know what? It works. You can feel the progress already in that. I can feel my shoulders fuller already and engorged in blood and everything there. It's just a good feeling. Everybody's body and anatomy is slightly different, sometimes a lot different. Everybody's injury is different. Now we move on to the next, where we hold it out in front of us, like so, and we squeeze. This is a little bit harder because it's a little more extended, but it really does some great work for the shoulders. Now, again, I've seen my face when they do this, and it looks a bit more intense than it actually is. It actually feels very gratifying, very good. I have to concentrate. We hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! That feels good. This is, we'll move on to the dumbbell phase of it. This is where I have a contrarian view. I see a lot of trainers, they'll have their clients sit on stability balls, and they'll have them do exercises like this, which is what I do. But the thing about a stability ball, it's not really stable. It's squishy, it rolls, and you don't really have a stable base to it. And while this might be good for core work, and balance work, it's really not good if you want to isolate a shoulder and work on healing a shoulder. So what I do, we go behind, so get a little different angle, we flex from behind like so. And we'll give you links to the bull worker, how you can get one. There's many different choices. There's a lady bull worker. There's different lengths. Like I say, different levels of strength springs. And we hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A little bit longer there. This is, again, very mobile thing to do. You can take these bull workers anywhere. We happen to be outside at a park today. You can take them, you could probably take them to work with you, the bands and tubes and the bull worker. You do this every other day. It's important to have days off. Your days off are just as important as your work days. The one doctor there that told me way back when to lift weights twice a day, very bad advice. You want to give your muscles and tendons and joints and things a chance to regrow from the work you do. This is something that I don't see a lot of people do. I always advocate hydrating with water, pure water. But you get a little bit of edge. Any little bit of edge can help. And there's been a lot of talk about turmeric here. This is turmeric, and if I can get it in there without, the wind's blowing here today, without too much, I make a little combination potion that I don't see anybody else doing. Now the thing about turmeric, it tastes terrible, and so what I do, I camouflage it with some other great ingredients. Essential amino acid here. This kind of gives it a flavor, a bit of a sweet flavor, and it kind of counters the bitter taste of the turmeric. If you can incorporate swimming into your routine, again, it's not for everybody, because you gotta, find something to do with your wet clothes. You gotta get wet. A lot of people don't like the water, but if you can do it, it makes the workout and your healing of your shoulder the platinum workout.
If you can incorporate a swimming day into your training, it will be a valuable supplement to your recovery. I'm not talking about backyard pools. It must be a lap swimming pool. This isn't for everyone, as a lot of people tell me they will sink like a rock, or they simply don't like the water.
You can do this without really changing a lot of spacing.
And looking around the web and in everyday life, I don't see a lot of great instruction or solid specific instruction on how to do this. It's kind of all over the board. Some of it's dated, some of it's misleading. There's a physical therapist one time that he would have dislocated my arm. I think he tried to, just to see if it would dislocate. So there's a mixed bag out there with things, and I'd like to correct that.
There are no miracle cures, but what does work is rubbing and rolling, flexing the fulcrum, and as long as you eat reasonably well, I guarantee you these methods will work in healing your shoulder. And I guarantee it so much, they'll give you a 30-day money-back guarantee with this. If you practice these methods and don't feel some sort of improvement and aren't satisfied, I will give you your money back. And I hope that people learn from this course, and I hope you take this and teach others with it. You have my blessings to do that, because this works. This is about healing shoulders, and that's what I do very, very well, and that's what this course does very, very well.